Right, watcher, welcome back. Part 30 of Delboy's Garage, Project Bandit tailpiece unit seat thing. And part 30, great. Starting to get somewhere now, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I think I've got 2 or maybe 3 more videos on the frame. Certainly this one and the next one. And it's great, this is a defining video now. This is going to be the shape, or this is the video where I do the defining work on the back. This is that tail hump of the calf racer style that I wanted. And I've got some special thin wire, which I'm going to hopefully be able to use, and it's not too thin that it won't weld, to get that tail hump exact. I've got to put another brace bar around, same as the last time. I put the second one above and I'll put a third one further in to give like a cone effect, blah blah blah. You'll see, stick around, you'll you know what I mean. And hopefully once the wire's finished, once I've got all the steel in place, then I've just got to wait for the fiberglass. Now the resin's coming. A very good friend is helping us out with the resin, enough in a quantity that I can use this. It's no good going to Halfords trying to get this much resin. Honestly, you'd be paying half the value of the job for it, just because it's tiny little quantities and then blah. So I've got an industrial quantity of resin coming. I've got fiberglass resin from a good friend Jeff, and of course between the two they should make the job right. Got it planned, it's all in here. Don't quite know what it's going to look like, but I've got an idea, and it isn't going to be a lovely, yummy, shiny thing. It's a rat bike and it's going to follow that tradition. All this detailed work, all this stuff, it's going to be hidden, but I'm going to try and show a little bit of it through the fiberglass, if that makes any sense. Probably not, so stick with it and you'll see what I mean. I'm going to try and snuck the fiberglass down so tight round the frame that actually the frame shows through a little bit, like ribs sticking out on a starved dog. You know, it's got to be shown somehow. I've got to celebrate that fantastic work somehow, and I think that's probably the way. And being a rat bike, I think it will fit right in. For the actual seat cushion, one of you asked, are you going to do some upholstery? No, absolutely not. I'm going to use a piece of that DOS roll stuff, you know, the old camping mat. You can get it in the camping shop. It's 10mm thick, super spongy, high density foam. A couple of layers of that. It's just going to make a pad very much like the GP bikes. That's all it needs. How comfortable that is will remain to be seen, and I can modify that later on, but that's all it's going to be for now. I am on a deadline. I've got till the 13th, well the 12th effectively, of October, because I want to get it ready for Brightona. I would like to take it to the Brightona show. I'd like to debut it there, so it's given me a deadline. So the frame, I reckon this video, maybe 1, possibly 2 more, just to get the final work done so the frame's absolutely ready, and then hopefully not too many videos for the skin. Everything's ready. Once the resin's arrived at the end of next week, then hopefully I can get it done. I mean, that's next week at the time of filming, because these are a little bit ahead now. I'm just starting to pile the videos in and load them up every 2 days. Otherwise they just become white noise and you start skipping them and you're missing out stuff, which then leads to questions: what happened here, what happened there? So stick with it. It's moving forward, and slowly but surely towards the finish, which I'm really looking forward to. I didn't do this project to take forever. This isn't for the love of the project. This is for having a really cool tail unit on my bike. That's what it's more about. So I'm looking forward to enjoying that. And with all your support and all your encouragement, it's moving along quicker than it would have done. So I appreciate that. Stick around, stay tuned. Let's see what happens today. Right, in the last instalment, it got to here. So it's pretty straightforward. I've got to bring this line that I've created up and into there neatly. So I think what it needs, it's going to be today quite simply another one of these coming around further in to bring that line in even more, and then possibly another. I don't know, it may not need it. And then after that it's a case of the curved wires, the all important bit that will make it or break it. So there we go, 1 or maybe 2 bits more frame. First job, get that rear one bent up. Just means more of this, I'm afraid. Sick of the sight of bending metal in a while. Just get a basic 180 in it to start with, and then manipulate from there. And as always, try and get it free of any kinks or corners, because it will show up in the finished job. Just going by eye on this. That's the only way to do it. If it's wrong, I can bend it back. Right, let's lob that to size. Here we are. Loads of humping and puffing. Third one. Makes sense, doesn't it? Obvious. And here's the coolest bit. 37 pieces of metal in this so far. And there's the smallest one. That's going to go, if I don't drop it, in there. Just to give the angle. And that will just get tacked in. Blobbed in there with weld. Just to hold that up. So that... Where are we? There we are. That angle is preserved as it comes round to the top. It'll kind of, it won't be a perfect ellipse, but it's got to house the battery. I've got to come up a little bit here. I've got to give room for the battery. But there we are. That'll be the next bar. Right, last one. I'm going to use this last remaining little bit of 3/16 rod because it's just for the top final curvature, and this is lovely to bend just by hand. Here we are, the final piece, the final front here, just to lean that up in the end. There we go. Right, put the magnets on. And just line it up and zap it in. This is annoyingly taken up 2.5 hours so far, just doing those two and this one and the middle piece. I have to do another middle piece as well for strength, but it just eats time, this, it really does. Right, I have to call it a day after this one. Oh, he is ringing. Just cleaning off all the bits of slag and bits of slag and weld wire and so on. Alright, so there it is. Now some people have said it's a bit tall. The whole thing looks a bit tall at the back, but it will do at the minute. However, it's in line with the tank. Remember, we measured it with a gauge. It's completely in line, and the curvature at the back, I can't really see it just in a lens, but each and every one of these angles kind of corresponds and fits from the back. Everything's parallel, and with the frame as well, and with the bike, as it were. The tunnels come out quite well, actually. I quite like that. It's in enough to look like it's Frenched, but it's not going to be a problem. I may yet still cut this out, I don't know. May wait right till the fact that I'm skinning it, I don't know. Anyway, that's eaten far more time than I thought. It really has. Just cleaning up and finessing, really, getting all the welds ground flat, because obviously the skin's going around this outside, so I don't want blobby welds poking up, so they're all been dressed back. I've got a little bit more filing to do yet, but there it is. First time I've looked at it and thought, now it's starting to look like an actual skeleton over which a skin will go, rather than a frame. This front section, I'll probably actually tack a piece of sheet across there just for strength. I've got some little 2-inch strips of sheet metal. I think I'll just tack one across there just to give it a bit more strength than rod, because you ain't going to see it in that sense. That's actually going to have a pad on it. But I've got a cunning plan. For now, I'm going to have to call it a day. The main reason is that the next bit of wire I want to use is I want to come down the outside with more wires, but not 1/4 inch or 3/16. I want to use this stuff, which I harvested from this clothes dryer, and from what I can make out, it's only about 2 mil, maybe 3, probably 2 in the time you get this powder coating off. Now that stuff's great. It's going to bend beautifully just by hand. It's going to make a lovely ellipse. It's going to work quite well. And it's going to obviously not weld at all with this white coating on. So what I've got to do is really laborious, long, miserable job. I've got to literally grind all that off, set the sander up in the vise, and just sand it all off, get rid of it all, because it won't weld like that. That's not weld through, that's plastic coating of some kind. And if it's going to work at all, I want to come round that sort of thing to make the back a little bit funky. I've got a cool idea. But that's going to take a long time, and that's going to take all the time I've got left today. And it's them there. I've got to do all them. That's probably going to take about an hour to get all them cleaned off, and that's the rest of my time. So I'm going to call that done for today. Going to wrap the video up here. That's the hump framed. It is taller than perhaps it might have been. Would look perhaps cool if it was about, I don't know, perhaps 3 inches shorter, but then the battery's got to go in there. It is still a battery box in there, and underneath it's completely flat. Don't know, it works for me. It's like anything, when you take the old wrap in and all the sheets and that off and you see it for the first time, construction's good. Engineering wise, it's all straight, strong, true and square. It's just where I go next. Well, there it is. I'm going to call that done, like I said, for now. I'm going to get all that other stuff prepped, ready for the next one. And I've got this idea now. Obviously, a few of you have said it's a shame to cover it up, and I think you're absolutely right. It is a real shame. That's just cool as it is, but it's not going to work when it's open. So it's got to be covered, and it's not for a shiny bike. And I had this thought. I kind of do my best thinking when I'm either riding or welding and fabricating, and I don't think about that while I'm working today. I've got this cunning idea. It might work, it might not. Obviously, if this was for a shiny bike and you covered that hump on the back there, nice and smooth and shiny and lovely and curved. You wouldn't know that the frame was under there, and all that work would truly be lost and hidden. I'd know it's there, but no one else would. And don't know, you could half of the stuff. You do this for looks, don't you? You do it because it looks cool. That's not being brash or showy. That's just how it is. You know, it looks cool. I'll do it that way. But it is a rat bike, and I thought maybe what I'll do, instead of doing it smooth, I'll just do it faceted, which means stretching the skin. Use some stretchy cloth and stretch over that ellipse where it will pick out all the bones. All those ribs will stick out, and on the front as well. Each and every one of the ribs will actually poke out the skin. You'll see them. It will be like I said earlier, the ribs sticking out of a starving dog, and that will be quite cool. I've got a sheet of Kevlar style stuff which will go over as the final sheet. That's quite cool. And if I can just put that on and then matte black it and then just put the pad on the front section, that will look pretty cool. It will still look rat, and you'll see all the hard work. So I've just thunk it up. May not work at all. Maybe a load of shit. You never know. And if it doesn't, I can always do it smooth. But for now, I've got some sanding and stuff to do, so I'm going to crack on with that, and I'll see you for the next one. Thanks for tuning in. What's in Delboy's Garage. Always appreciate your fantastic support. Ride safe. See you next time.